Hey there! So I just got back from the exam, and first impression is that I'm pretty sure I passed. In general, walked in pretty confident about it. But the big one for me, obviously, was the tasting portion, and I ended up getting that. So, what's it like? We walk into this like science building of a university, and there's only actually 12 people that were taking the written portion of the test. I was actually surprised by that. I thought it'd be a lot more people. For the sorry, yeah, the tasting portion, there were about 3 or 4 people joined in. Obviously, they had not passed part of the test, so you can take one or the other if you have not passed parts of the test, or you can just retake the full test. But test in general was pretty fair. I would say that it's just so important to be over prepared. Even taking those practice tests from that guideline, they're going to throw you questions that were not on there because he only has so many questions that he can ask, whereas they think of new ones. So just being over prepared, having answers for all those is pretty important. I mean, I don't think I got every single question right. I mean, that'd be ridiculous, but pretty confident about it. One thing I will say is that it's weird about the test is that there's a good amount of short answers, so or like fill in the blanks, like short answer that you can sort of like answer in like one sentence, but you can give obviously always more information, so then you end up like going right. So I think they generally would prefer if you give them more information, but like it's one of those things where like you can do so much more with the test than like it actually asks of you. So it's like a little bit confusing for that. Easy parts I would say are the guidelines. I guess for me, just like being so familiar with them, it was almost like looking at those placemats that you have at little diners or TGI Friday, whatever. I forget where they are at, but like your little kids like just like circle this answer, circle that answer. For me, it was like blah, 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 blah. That part just like was like super like dumb easy for me. And then the other parts are just not as easy. Just parts about like draft systems, parts about the brewing parts were really easy. The food pairing is definitely a part that like there's some amount of subjectivity there too, which is like a little bit weird, but especially the written part, like it's a little confusing. But in general, I think I did pretty well on the essays, and yeah, I think I passed. We'll see. And so that was not too bad. They give you 3 hours, by the way. You definitely can like take that test. Like if you really knew yourself, an hour and a half. So I took 2+ hours, 2.5 maybe, just like I was checking everything through, but also just like overwriting, just like a little bit of that. So yeah, that's the test. Then the tasting portion comes. So that occurs, and man, there's a lot of samples. You get a control, 4 spiked beers of that sample, and then you get 4 style distinctions. So it's like, here's 4 actual beers. What style is it? 50-50. And then you get 4 more beers, and then the regular style examples that you get off the shelf, but 2 of them are spiked. And actually, I don't even know if it's like always 2. I messed up on the DMS and control, swap those 2. So that's pretty bad of me because in general I was pretty confident throughout, or slightly confident throughout, but that I was just lost at. So I guess I'm like really DMS light. I just like can't detect DMS. I mean, I swapped between the 2. The control is DMS, is control DMS, and I couldn't tell. So that I messed up on, so I got 2 wrong, and then the rest I'm pretty sure I got every thing right. Style distinctions were pretty easy. Yeah, if you don't know your styles, I mean, come on, it's pretty easy. I mean, then again, this is coming from somebody who like trains their palate every single day. So I can't imagine it's like easy for everybody. And there are a couple that were hard, like We Heavy Double, or something like a really old bottle of Weissbier. I was like, is this an American wheat? Blah blah blah. But yeah, it's just an old bottle, and like sometimes just like a lot of the beers you just pick up and smell and just get there, which is great because then you don't have to mess up your palate because you're tasting all these beers and your palate's like all destroyed and stuff. But just like being able to pick it up, smell it, easy peasy. And then comes the ones where they spike them or don't spike them of actual beer, not like the first ones were all Heinekens and then all spiked, but these were like the actual beer. Like, hey, is this Kolsch like oxidized? Pretty obvious for me. Was this porter, blah blah blah, so stuff like that, and picked up on those pretty easily. The 2 that were not spiked were relatively easy for me, but still think like again, I think it might be the hardest part of the test because it really is something you can't really just straight learn out of like studying for a guideline. You can't just sit there like, all right, blah, 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 I'm gonna memorize all this stuff. It really involves a good amount of practice and like learning like a familiarity of your palate and your body and your aroma and all that stuff, and just really getting able to like a good amount of those I was able to pick up and go boom, I know that smell. Like I know Belgian. I know this. Like and learning that is not easy. It could take years. So tasting portion, yeah, Past that, I only got 2 wrong, so I'm pretty sure that's enough to pass. And so we find out in 4 to 6 weeks whether I actually passed, but pretty sure I did. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to celebrate like I did, so we're going to do that. And so yeah, right now I'm still in Philadelphia. I have still a day to hang out. We're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna relax right now. They let us out early, so yeah. Again, it's like 10 a.m. The test only takes about 3 hours. The tasting portion's super quick. So then we're out by 2. So now it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit, and then we'll see what Philadelphia offers. I'm definitely going to be roaming around and getting some beer. I literally did not even celebrate for the beer afterwards of the test. I'm doing that in later this afternoon. So we'll do that. We'll figure it out. Hopefully, I'll bring you some content about what I'll be doing in Philadelphia. I'm really excited too. I'm gonna do some research. I don't know what to do in the city. Thankfully, a lot of people on Instagram posted like, "Hey, go there, go there, go here." So I'll do that. Get some food. We'll do that later. So we'll be back. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Later.